I want to pivot from here because Justin Greco has let the cat out of the bag. For those of you who didn't know, although if you looked at the thumbnail, you did. Trump, the big, beautiful bill has passed the House. They took the Senate version, they rammed it through, they got it done a day early. The deadline was July 4th. Trump is now planning a huge celebration. Let's dive right in to the big, beautiful bill passing. This is amazing stuff. Before we do, if you're in the chat, please let us know you're here. Please let us know in the comments if you're watching. Also, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. The big news of the day, one BBB is through to the president's desk. So here we are in the last moments, 218 to 212 to 214. So it passed.
Members voted.
There we go.
Or wish to change a vote? No.
So there it is live as it happened in the House. Now I want to dive in with Peter Doocy as he was giving a report as this was all happening. Excellent stuff by Trump.
When the big, beautiful bill inevitably passes, it's going to add to a week and a half of key moments, consequential moments in this second term for him. We made a list. It starts on June 23rd with the Supreme Court allowing the Trump administration to restart swift deportations of migrants away from their home countries. 4 days later, the Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration on nationwide injunctions in that birthright citizenship case. June 30th, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ closed at record highs. They capped the best quarter in over a year. Two things on July 1st. First, Israel accepted the Trump-led ceasefire plan that could end the Gaza war in 60 days. And also, UPenn modified a trio of school records set by the transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. Then July 2nd, yesterday, Trump announced a trade deal with Vietnam that's going to let U.S. goods into that country duty-free. We talked about the markets. Look at this. The all-time highs. S&P 500, 6227. The NASDAQ, 20,393. President Trump also feeling good about border security. He posted this last night. Congratulations, America. The June border statistics are in, and once again, they are the lowest recorded numbers in United States history. The U.S. Border Patrol reported 0 releases of illegal aliens into the country. And the president has been very excited ever since he got back here about the next year's America 250 birthday celebration. The countdown to that begins tonight in Des Moines, Iowa.
That's going to be an amazing celebration. But Ducey nails it. He goes through the Trump wins in the last week. The last one right before today being that massive trade deal with Vietnam, which opens their markets to American products at 0 tariff, while they pay 20% to sell into America. That is the blueprint for every trade deal moving forward, and it is absolutely fantastic. Add today, we get the June jobs report. And now add to that, the one big, beautiful bill has passed the House, 218 to 214. Now, this is absolutely amazing because the left is apoplectic. They are melting down. They are coping. They are seething. Serious copium. Now, before this bill passed, I want to jump in with Hakeem Jeffries, the complete loser of the minority party in the House, as he was on a 6-hour stump speech, basically blasting the one big beautiful bill, which completely and utterly backfired. Then we're going to dive into Mike Johnson's comments. But let's check out Hakeem Jeffries, life loser of the Democrat Party, first. Here we go.
Manu wasn't the only one, the only American citizen who's been targeted by the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill.
Yes, it will. And that is what 70 million Americans voted for. We are tired of illegal criminal aliens being in our country. That's why they voted en masse for Trump, to get them out. That's exactly one of the things that this one big beautiful bill will do. So Hakeem Jeffries stood up there for 6 hours At one point, you see all these people behind him. Those are the only congressmen in Congress representatives in the room. There's about 12 of them. They packed them all right behind him. The rest of the chamber is empty. And in fact, one of them started to fall asleep. They had to switch cameras and get her out of there and replace her with somebody else because they couldn't have that spoiling the stage show that they put together for this 6-hour speech. That was so bad. There was actually a U.S. representative that was on the fence, and he tweeted out, he actually told, I believe it was Benny Johnson, that he was on the fence until he watched Hakeem Jeffries' speech and then said, nope, I'm voting for the big, beautiful bill. This is absolutely great stuff. All right, so let's check out Mike Johnson. We're not going to do the entirety of his speech because it's like 7 minutes long, but I just wanted to dive into a little bit. Here we go, celebrating the one big, beautiful bill going to the president's desk.
Thank you. This is the vote tally card. We're going to frame this one, okay? 218, 214. Listen, I'm not going to give you a long speech. A lot has been said today, and these people are exhausted. A couple of us quite literally haven't slept in 2 days, so I'm a danger to myself and others right now. I'm not going to speak off the cuff. I'll just say this. I mean, many of you have asked me this question in the hall over the last couple of days. But when it looked like that we might actually deliver this thing, particularly this morning, how did you know? I mean, what kept you going? Why did you think this was possible? You guys made an audacious plan. You brought the most comprehensive, complicated piece of legislation, probably, arguably in the top 2 or 3 in the history of the Congress, with the smallest margin in U.S. history, which we had for a big chunk of the first 100 days. And you put this audacious timeline. You said you were going to pass it out of the House by Memorial Day. I mean, some of you openly laughed at me when I said that back in early February. And then we said we would get it done by July 4th. We beat Memorial Day by 4 days, and we got this one done a day early. I just want to point out, okay?
Now, love him or hate him, and there's lots of reasons to dislike some of the things that Mike Johnson has done, but Mike Johnson has delivered on this bill. I've got to hand it to him on that one. He has delivered on the one big, beautiful bill. And as much as we didn't like John Thune, with one exception, he has, for the most part, delivered on all of the Trump nominees so far. And he also got the Senate to deliver, maybe not 100% the way we wanted to, but on the one big, beautiful bill. So Trump's major signature piece of policy legislation is now headed to his desk. Now, we got a lot of work to do after this because we got to send weekly rescission, weekly bills to cut spending over and over and over again, weekly rescission reconciliations. Hopefully that happens. And we got a bunch of other things to do. But this is a day to celebrate America because the tax cuts, the Trump tax cuts, are now permanent. And ICE is funded for the mass deportations. The wall is funded. Energy is turned loose. All of the Biden area lease denials, all of that American energy is turned loose. And there is a massive deregulation and supply side stimulus to the economy. And finally, another thing that's going to happen very soon is this bill helps put the nail in the coffin of USAID. Let's keep going.
So the question was, I mean, like, why? Why did you do that? Why did you think that was possible? Because I would sum it up with one word. It's belief. Okay, we had a vision for what we want to do as a group. We believed in the election cycle last fall that we were going to be given this great blessing of unified government, that we would have the White House and the Senate and the House aligned, an alignment, unified government. And we did not want to waste that opportunity because we understand the history that comes along with it, the opportunity that we can do for the country, and we believe that we would have that chance. And then I believe in the people that are standing here behind me. I believe in this group, every single one of them individually. Some of them are more fun to deal with than others, you know. I mean that with the greatest level of respect. I love every single one of my colleagues. Even the ones I got to spend the more time with, right? Because everybody's here, their motive is right, their heart is right. They're trying to do right for their constituents. They're trying to serve the greatest nation in the history of the world that we're going to celebrate tomorrow. We don't take that lightly. I know their hearts, and I know what their skill sets are, and I know what they bring to the table, and I get up every day excited because I know that each of them are going to bring that to the table, and they're going to serve their constituents. You could not have a greater group of public servants than the people standing in this room right here.
And this bill delivers the largest single spending cut in a single bill in U.S. history. It turns out to be about $1.7 trillion. Now, we need to up that. I personally think we need to triple that number with weekly reconciliation rescission bills. We've got to massively cut spending, but this is a start. It is, as liberals have always said, it's just a start. It's incremental. Get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This is an amazing way to start, though, with the largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, permanency for the Trump tax cuts. It is turning ICE into the force it needs to be to do mass deportations. This is amazing, amazing stuff, and it turns loose American energy. Now, meanwhile, the libs, as Bob says, the libs get crazier every day. Check this out, because this just, it warms my heart, actually. Democrat Representative Jimmy Gomez on the steps outside the U.S. Capitol. It is a great day to be a MAGA Republican in America. We are getting our country back. We have to check in with Sandy Ocasio-Cortez from Yorktown Heights, white bread, rich neighborhood in Long Island, as she copes and sees over the big, beautiful bill. This is great stuff. This, knowing that she is upset, means we are on the right track. Let's check this out, boys and girls.
This is one of the saddest days in modern American history. This is the largest withdrawal and ending of health care in American history. 17 million people in our country, 17 million Americans in our country.
17 million illegals will no longer get health care. Illegals. We don't want them to have health care. They are illegal. They are criminals in our country. They don't belong here. They don't belong getting any government services whatsoever. If this is a sad day for Sandy Ocasio-Cortez, then it is a great day for Americans, because Sandy Cortez, like Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley and all of the other anti-American global corruptocrat buffoons in Congress, hate you. They hate you. They hate America. They want to remake America into Western Somalia, and we're not going to let them do it. The fact that they are upset means we are over the target. The more flack you get, the more over the target you are.
Country are going to lose their Medicaid. They're going to lose their ACA insurance. Small business owners are going to have their healthcare costs skyrocket, and people are going to have their SNAP and WIC cut back. People are going to go hungry. People are going to get sick on a scale unlike anything we've ever seen. And all of it is just to finance tax cuts for billionaires and the wealthiest corporations who don't even need it. I don't think I've ever seen.
The tax cuts are for the middle. They were across the board. The tax cuts are for everyone, Sandy. Everyone. They're not for billionaires. The biggest tax cuts are for the American middle class.
I don't think we have ever seen or are prepared for how catastrophic this is set to be for a lot of people. And I think it's devastating. And they're talking about this as though it's some tax cut. Even the stuff that they're talking about, taxes on tips, no tax on tips, that's only for people, that's only up to $25,000. And if you're making less than that, you're already kind of exempt from a lot of these things in the first place. So they're giving people crumbs and they're taking away the whole loaf. And it's just a genuinely really sad day for our country.
What about Leader Jeffrey's final message, looking ahead to 2026, 2028?
Well, to Leader Jeffries' message, he's right. The best thing that we can do right now is press on. And in order for us to salvage.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do, Sandy Ocasio, is to press on. Continue standing with the 20%. Continue standing with the 10%. Continue standing with the 5%, while Trump and MAGA firmly plant themselves with the 80% of Americans that want all the criminal illegals gone, want all the illegals gone, want no new foreign wars, want trade deals that benefit American workers, that repatriate American manufacturing. American factories, American jobs. That's what they want, and that is what Trump is delivering. Energy independence, no more Green New Deal nonsense. All of that is going away. It is absolutely fantastic stuff. And also here, this was on July 2nd. I want to show you this because we are seeing through this bill and some other things, the final nail in the coffin of not only government scam and money laundering, but essentially funding of the globalist cabal, lib, Democrat, progressive party. Check this out.
To talk about this which it's important to talk about it, the consequences for what it means in this period of time, the permission structure that it opens up in the not so distant future. But I'm also obsessed with the Humpty Dumpty of it all, right? Like, this is being deconstructed. And if we are able somehow as a country to live and survive our democracy past this moment, it is going to fall to someone to put it back together. And the putting back together of these institutions will not be easy, especially because all the career folks, lots of the career folks have left. They have undermined the value and the mission of the institution. If there is another side of this, if we all return to Earth One, what is it going to require to put these institutions back together?
I think it's easy to give like happy talk to this answer and kind of say, well, you know, we're just going to have to work and do it and join hands. And it's going to be hard, Alicia, and some of it is not going to be irreparable. I guess just the reality. You know, I had Nick Kristof on the Borg podcast last Friday, I think, and he's talking about USAID, which got shut down officially on Monday. The harm is done, right? Like a future president could come back in and restart USAID, but like things change. The world.
Absolutely. USAID is gone. Officially closed down, officially destroyed. Yes, rubble. And this is amazing because it saves $50 billion a year, or 45 billion. We'll round it up. $50 billion a year that was just grifted into NGOs and into Democrat pockets. It was $50 billion that went to fund our enemies, $50 billion that went to fund people who hate America, $50 billion that went to fund bringing in terrorists and criminal gang members into America to destroy our country. And it was $50 billion that essentially floated the progressive liberal Democrat Party. You want to know why the Dems are bankrupt, basically broke? It's not just because they have pissed off their donors, the ones that actually did give their own money, but the government money laundering scheme that they have built over the last 30 years, Trump is tearing down brick by brick, which means all that money that flowed into Democrat coffers is gone. This is absolutely amazing. Trump is remaking the American economy, remaking the global economy, remaking all global military and political relationships centered on America. And at the same time, he is destroying the deep state and the illicit Democrat funding networks brick by brick. This is amazing, absolutely stuff. The one big beautiful bill passed and is headed to the president's desk where he will sign it tomorrow in a 4th of July ceremony that I'm sure will be loaded with pomp and circumstance and celebration. Hope to see you all there. Remember, we live in the greatest country in the world. It's absolutely amazing being an American. Thank God we are here. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know you're here. If you like this content, please share this channel with everybody that you get. Help us break out of the YouTube algorithm. And if you're so inclined, if you like the content and you wish to support us, please do so as a member of Courageous Army on YouTube or on Patreon. We'd really appreciate you joining up. Thanks so much. Remember, have a great day tomorrow. Let's celebrate God and America. Till I catch you next time.